Welcome to the Buzz to Bond webinar. We are going live on YouTube and coming up online, and I am really excited to be here today. Really excited to see some old friends who I've known for a long time and meet some new friends. And we're gonna let everyone come up online and get settled. And as you're getting settled, if you want to say hello in the chat, we have a chat on YouTube Live. And okay.
Okay, thank you, Ariel, for joining us today. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking the time to be here. My name is Daniel Baker. I'm the VP of Marketing for Disc Makers. I'm excited to introduce our longtime friend and advocate, Ariel Hyatt. Ariel runs Cyber PR and is widely regarded as the leading authority on independent music publicity. And as many of you know, Ariel recently released her 7th book, From Buzz to Bond, How to Stop Chasing Hype and Build a Lasting Music Career, which was actually published by our sister company, BookBaby, a couple months ago. So we are thrilled to have Ariel with us today, both to share her insights on building a fan base and staying meaningfully connected to it. And yes, we will be sending a replay link within the next day or so for anybody that's not able to be with us today. So welcome, Ariel. I will turn it over to you.
Thank you so much. And I also wanted to introduce my colleague. His name is Mecha Godzilla. He's here on camera. And he is a huge and valued member of our team here at Cyber PR. He's a producer, he's an artist extraordinaire, and he's someone I've known for many, many years. Thanks for being here, Mecha.
Anytime. Thank you.
Mecha will be moderating the questions as they come in. Just a little housekeeping, thumbs up if you can all see me and you can all hear the, see the PowerPoint presentation, which is about to become the main event. Okay, no one seems to be complaining, so it looks like we're good to go. Thanks so much, Dan, for the lovely introduction. Disc Makers has been a part of my life since the mid-90s. It's been a very long time since I've known the crew over there. Back in the day when Derek Sivers was running CD Baby, before Disc Makers purchased it, I knew them even before that. So I'm thrilled you're here. Today we're going to be talking about Buzz to Bond, which is my most recent book, which was released with BookBaby. And I would like to kick this session off with a quote from the book, because I think it's appropriate for what's happening right now. We are in a time where art matters more than ever. Connection matters more than ever. You need to make art as your outlet, and fans need it as their connection point and healing balm. So that's the jumping off point, and that was really the impetus for why I decided to write From Buzz to Bond in the first place. As someone who runs a very busy digital marketing agency, I had begun to notice a couple of alarming trends, and that really is what inspired me to write From Buzz to Bond. And it's interesting, as the book was coming out and catching steam, I started noticing I wasn't the only person focused on the music business and musicians marketing. And there started to be many articles hitting the mainstream. And I wanted to share a little bit about what they're saying, because the marketing and the music marketing and the social media marketing tides are actually turning. And Rolling Stone had a huge article that came out that has a bit of a sensational title, but the future of music marketing is no marketing at all. The car videos asking people to pre-save no longer work. And that article went on basically to say that the way that most of us have been pushing our marketing is not jiving at all and connecting at all with fans, which I found really interesting. And so I also found it really vindicating because in my book, I talk a lot about what I really think of is not working. And Rolling Stone sort of backed me up when they said this. The New Yorker, around the same time, also had a huge article, which they call the Infinite Scroll. And the article said it's cool to have no followers now. As social media has become older, and now we've really hit the mainstream. We're about 10 years fully mainstream, 15 years if you were an early adopter. As social media has become older, more manipulatable, and more automated by AI, flouting online popularity has gained a new cachet. And that is interesting too, because part of what I'm going to talk about in buzz marketing and where I see a lot of artists wasting time and energy and effort is in trying to get more followers. And it's an interesting new trend to note and notice that that might not be what the future holds for marketing. So before we can get to Bond, I would like to share about buzz. Buzz is the numbers game. It's the chasing for playlists, for viral moments, for streams, for numbers. And buzz marketing creates the illusion of success, but it fails to build lasting careers, and it very, very rarely creates real fans. In my book, I outline 3 core principles that make up buzz marketing, and I wanted to step you through them so that we can sort of name them. The first core principle is be widely discoverable. So you make your music and your content easy to find. Mass visibility does not foster meaningful connection, but it does get you up on Spotify and Amazon and Apple Music and all the DSPs. You're also obviously going to have to make yourself discoverable on all the social media platforms that they say you're supposed to use. The second core principle of buzz marketing is riding platform trends. This means leveraging fads to catch algorithms. So maybe you're jumping on board a trending sound or a trending dance or a trending something on TikTok, especially this reigns supreme. And this forces you to constantly adapt and react. And it also forces you normally to take your eyes off the prize of what you were doing for your consistent marketing, and it sort of makes you do the fad marketing. The third core principle of buzz marketing is paying to maximize reach. Of course, using ad platforms. Relying on paid reach creates this sort of never-ending expense. And for many artists we've worked with and spoken to, we've also noticed the long-term impact goes away. The minute the ad dollars dry up, so unfortunately do the fans. So in my book, I outline how most artists are promoting music, and Mecca and myself and all of the colleagues at my agency, as we get to talking to artists about what are you doing, what's working, talk to us about, what your marketing looks and feels like in 2025 and what are you doing? We found this, and I have nicknamed these marketing danger loops, buzz marketing danger loops. And again, when we spoke to musicians and artists and managers and other marketing agencies, we found a lot of money being spent to create these loops. So here's the meta ad one, for example. You buy meta ads, they connect to Spotify plays, then you're excited because you see Spotify plays, and then you get more meta ads and more Spotify plays, and the dopamine floods you and you go around and around. It works the same way, of course, on Spotify, cheap ads, more plays, algorithm jackpot, dopamine hit, and here we go round in circles. So, this is what we saw time and time again when we were talking to artists about what was and was not working for their marketing. Here are some other things that show up, and a lot of these things I've been doing music marketing for my entire adult life. That's 30 years, coming up in 2026. And we see this all the time. I've just mentioned writing social media trends, Spotify Ad Studio, YouTube promos, buying huge amounts of plays that rarely even have comments, so things that look kind of suspicious. Traditional ad spends, we have seen multiple artists go crazy with this one, including we have a few artists that actually paid for billboards in Times Square. Obviously, meta ads, guaranteed playlist submissions and playlist hits, influencer collabs. This is another one where we've seen artists make a lot of money mistakes. Paying influencers like on TikTok to include their music in the background while they're walking their dogs or doing their makeup, we find might not be the best way to create a sustainable fan. Another thing I do want to point out, and this was really a major impetus for my thinking when I was writing this book, and that was watching artists double, triple, quadruple down on Spotify and realizing that Spotify's morals might not be in the place where you feel alignment. So the first thing that happened last summer, the news broke that Daniel Ek, the head of Spotify, had spent $694 million investing in weapons of war, drones that search out and kill people. Then, of course, there was the ICE recruitment ads, and people that had the non-paid level of Spotify might have even heard these ads, and they ran them for months and months, even though a lot of people asked them not to. And the only reason why they stopped running the ads was their ad budgets ran out. Now, Spotify is not the only major platform that runs these ads. Unfortunately, YouTube also ran ICE recruitment ads. But what I'm trying to show here is if integrity is important to you, you might feel a little uneasy when you understand this. The other problem and thing that we are noticing and seeing is Spotify is flooded now with AI music, AI slop, music that's not created by actual humans, and it's beginning to take over the algorithm. And so there's a lot of reasons why Spotify is not the only place you should be doubling down. Let's talk about why buzz marketing proliferates. The false perception feels real. When you click on your Spotify and you see that you have 100,000, 200, 300, 400, 500,000 plays, they are somewhat real, but it can make it feel like you're winning, but you'll also know and notice that you have no connection to those fans. You don't get to engage with them. Buzz marketing proliferates because it allows you to hide. Genuine fan relationships actually require interaction and vulnerability and some effort. And if you just hire a company that guarantees a bunch of likes or a bunch of plays or some ad clicks, you don't have to show up. Almost all of buzz marketing is purchasable. Like I said, you could Google right now, get me 20,000 Spotify plays, and you would find multiple companies jumping to the front of the AdSense looking to take your money. The other thing, and the thing that artists say to us constantly is, well, I like this kind of marketing because it allows me to just make my music. I don't want to focus on all of this work. They want only to focus on making music. And I understand that. You are artists after all. And this is why buzz marketing, I think, will continue to be profitable and happen. But really what all of this speaks to, and why I think we've gotten so far off the path, is dopamine hits. Just like when you're on your phone scrolling and you can't control what you're doing, and you went on to check something real quick and you end up 2 hours later down a TikTok or an Instagram stories hole, it's because it's lighting up your brain very much in the same ways all of these buzz marketing ploys will make your brain feel. Here's another quote. Here is another quote from the book. The notion that every artist must achieve massive streaming and follower numbers to validate their art is part of the toxic, numbers-driven mindset perpetuated by platforms and industry that made buzz marketing so prevalent in the first place. You deserve a real fan base, and for the rest of this webinar, I am going to talk about how I think you can begin to build your fan base, increase your fan base, or change your relationship to your fan base. Dan made a lovely introduction. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Ariel Hyatt. I am the founder of Cyber PR Music. I have been a cheerleader for independent artists for 30 years as my own agency. Before that, I worked at an independent record label and for a concert promoter. And so literally since the moment I stepped out of college, I have been working in the music space. I have an agency called Cyber PR. There are 5 of us, and we specialize in being thinking partners to artists, whether that's for publicity, release planning, or long-term marketing strategies. I've written 7 books. I've spoken around the world. It's my real passion and joy to help artists feel and figure out how to get better. It's really confusing. Everything keeps shifting. I love making what feels impossible feel possible and helping artists with tactical things that make a difference. I'm a born and raised New York City girl, and that's where Cyber PR is based today. And like Dan said, I've been friends with the Disc Makers crew since back in the mid-90s. And I'm a huge proponent and fan, of course, of artists selling digital media. It is a great way to make money, and we will talk about that as we get into the funnel. So bond marketing is a secondary strategy, and it's the crucial missing piece. The system that ensures once someone discovers you, there's a clear and compelling path for them to bond with your music and become a real fan. As I was researching for this webinar, I was looking at better news than the ICE news and the Daniel Ek news, and I wanted to frame this up because the world that a lot of us grew up in, where people were obsessed with music and music was the main event, is in some ways coming back. I think there's going to be a major reaction to all this AI that's flooding the marketplace. And Emily White, who's a brilliant thinker in the music industry, she actually at one point worked at Spotify. She blogs at Substack. She wrote this lovely article about the next generation of independent music tastemakers, and it really struck me. Vinyl sales have risen for 18 years straight. Half of purchasers don't even own a turntable. So that means people want to buy these beautiful objects and they want to support artists. Another stat in this article, independent artists now account for half of all streams. Even pop has gotten weirder and more nicheified. And then this really jumped out at me, and this is where the bond marketing funnel comes in to help with this. People want to experience music together. It's lonely to only watch your personalized feed of content or listen to your hyper-personalized repetitive top tracks. Today's music lovers crave chaotic, magical, and fundamentally human spaces. And that's what I'm going to encourage you to build today. So, bond marketing. Bond marketing are the strategies that build direct connections, fandom, and authentic community where real fans are born, not through hype or numbers, but through time, consistency, and meaningful engagement. There are 3 core principles, just like there were for buzz, for bond marketing. The first one is build ownership. That means establish direct communication channels like using email lists, memberships, sanctuaries, fan sites. Number 2, foster community. Encourage connection, create a sense of belonging. And of course, provide value. Create moments and offerings that deepen your fan engagement, and of course, get you paid. So here it is. This is the buzz marketing funnel that is laid out. It is the heart of the book, and I'm going to take you through each and every step in the funnel to give you a sense of how it looks from top to tails. I always appreciate lead singers when I do webinars. Being on the mic and talking and singing is very throat drying. Okay, so at the top of the funnel, you get brand pillars, fan personas, and voice. Before you can connect with your fans, you need to get clear on 2 things. First, who are you for? And second, who you are. So this is really, really important because your brand pillars are who you are and your fan personas are who you're for. And then the thing that is the connective tissue for that is your voice. And I spend a lot of time working with musicians on voice. You want to choose a voice that feels like you. Your tone of voice should align, of course, with your music first and your personality, and also resonate with your ideal fan. So some ideas of voice characterizations could be warm, bold, witty, sarcastic, sad, or sassy. Your music is, of course, the foundation. However, voice carries this across all channels. The second step in the social media funnel is in the bond marketing funnel as we're moving down is you need to take a really good, hard look at yourself online. And that includes, of course, all your social channels, your website, and any places where you might pop up or be findable. Starting with a cold Google search is always what we do at our agency. And your website and socials are your digital storefront. You have to remember that you have to keep them consistent and updated, and clear messaging deeply, deeply matters. You want to click every link. You want to read every bio. You want to check every visual, because if something is confusing or broken or outdated, your fans will weirdly feel it and they won't come on the journey. And 100% of artists we've audited at Cyber PR, and they pay us really well to do these audits, have had at least 1 or 10 broken links or brand issues that cost them fans. The third step in the bond marketing funnel as we're moving down is capture buckets. You want to set out as many buckets as possible. Email lists, QR codes, direct messaging, text messaging, exclusive offers, landing pages. These are all examples of buckets. The more buckets you have, the more of a chance to capture. So if it were pouring rain and you desperately needed water, would you just put out 1 bucket? No, you would put out as many receptacles as you have available. You'd be getting the Dixie cups and lining them up. You'd find buckets, you'd find that old trash can, wouldn't you? But what's really interesting is when we audit artists and when we look for how artists should be growing, we often find one tiny sign up for my newsletter buried at the bottom of their website, or maybe it's the 20th link in a link tree. But artists very rarely really focus on capture buckets. And the idea of them is you have to collect emails, you have to collect handles of social followers. Interest will show up everywhere, but capture is the only way you're going to begin converting. The fourth step in the bond marketing funnel is your email list. No algorithms will block you, no disappearing reach. It's a place where you will build your trust and drive action. And I think part of the reason why most musicians are violently allergic to really doubling down on their email list is you think of it as a newsletter and you don't have enough news to send. We are told constantly by artists, "Oh, I don't have anything to send. I don't want to bother people. I hate those other artists that send too many newsletters." You have to start thinking of it more as a VIP backstage pass, as a real invitation to connect. And again, in preparing for this presentation, I wanted to look for some statistics about email. And there's one I love, which is quite old now, which is email is 40 times more effective than social media. So, like, one email address is 40 times more valuable than a social following. But yet, here we are obsessed with social followers and not with building email addresses. Email is the only channel where your audience actually chooses you. And if they are going to sacrifice their email address, they've made a choice that they're opting in. So you thinking, well, I'm going to bother them by sending email might not be the best way to think about it. And also, when we're coaching our clients at CyberPR, we often say, when you're overwhelmed or upset by other people's emails, it's because you're looking at them through an artist and musician lens and you're irritated by what you see. But try to look at it from a fan perspective. Fans think of email very differently than other artists. And the co-founder of Substack just this week sent out a really beautiful email about Substack, which many of you might know. A lot of musicians and artists are turning towards Substack as an option for their emails and actually charging for access. He said this: "The best insurance against censorship and cultural coercion is to build direct relationships. Creators can cultivate mailing lists that they own and control. Audiences can support creators directly, not just with a fleeting tap on a timeline, but with direct investment in what they're building." And he wrote this because recently TikTok has announced that they now have American owners, and we are already seeing a shift in the algorithms, and we're seeing censorship happening on TikTok. And so what Hamish McKenzie, the co-founder of Substack, is basically saying here is the rules can shift, but when it's your own email, you make the rules. And then this lovely statistic: 99% of people check their email every day. It's not the sexiest tool, but it is so valuable. In the middle of the bond marketing funnel is the 5 touch points. To move from passive to passionate, fans need at least 5 meaningful interactions with you. And this is at the heart of the bond marketing funnel. This came from a major study that was done on super fandom in 2025. And the conclusion was, in order to move fans again from knowing about you in the distance to really focusing in on you, you're going to have to work. So what are touch points? What do they look like? How do they show up? Thoughtfully replying to comments or direct messages, not with just a fire emoji or a thumbs up or a heart, but a real reply. Hosting Zooms or Hangouts, sending personal messages, talking with fans at shows, running live streams across platforms, partnering with charities, highlighting fans publicly, posting polls, Q&As, caring enough to engage. You want to create moments that feel personal and participatory. Number 6, your fan sanctuary. Your fans deserve a place to belong. Build a place for them to belong. This is your inner circle where dedicated fans will connect with you and with each other in a deeper and more meaningful way. And this is where exclusivity and intimacy and community will flourish. So people don't bond with content. They bond with each other. And that's the opportunity of creating a fan sanctuary. It's where connection is encouraged, it's where trust is protected, and it's where community grows over time. And for those of you that are like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do like a whole other channel or build a website, or it can be as simple as a text messaging group. Don't panic. And it doesn't have to be tens of thousands of followers. How powerful would it be for you as an artist if you carried 25 to 50 fans around in your pocket who you could communicate with on a consistent basis? Number 7 is repeatable strategies. Once you have found what might be attracting and getting fans to come towards you, you want to find those patterns and see if you can create systems that work for you. And of course, don't force things here. You want to focus on what brings you joy, because joy creates consistency. And Mecca on my team last year in 2025 had a massive breakthrough because he unlocked repeatable strategies. He found a system that works for him using Instagram that has gotten tons of sales. He's selling merch, he's selling music, and he's paying for his groceries every single month by using and repeating this specific strategy. And he has a small engaged base, and he's gone really slow, and he's done it with methodic repetition, and it's worked. So testing what works over time and noticing patterns that emerge and then turning that effort into repeatable systems is what this is about. What works once, yes, it's like luck, but what works again and again can turn into a strategy if you're mindful. Number 8, interactive community. You become the host. You create a community for fans to bond over a shared love of your music or other things. You give them an identity and you empower ambassadors and recognize supporters. Strong communities become self-sustaining. So Dave Matthews has the Warehouse, Pearl Jam has the 10 Club, Aurora's supporters are known as warriors and weirdos, Doechii has her swamp, Baby Tate has her tater tots, and of course Lady Gaga has her little monsters. We see examples of communities in the indie and in the major worlds. And the reason why it's smart to name your fan base is it makes them feel included. Communities grow faster when fans invite fans. So you want to empower your fans to somewhat take the lead. If you think about like back to the early days of rock and roll, the Beatles had a fan club manager. Most artists have someone who steps in, and they've normally come from the fan base to empower the community. Number 9, at the almost very bottom of the bottle-shaped funnel, is consistent sales. Sales only work when connection comes first. You want to build trust, then monetization feels natural and not pushy, because bonded fans want to support. And you can even ask them what they'd like to buy and let them co-create your offers. Sales should continue a relationship, not start it and not break it. So the thing that we often see with sales is artists come to us and they have opened up a Shopify and they've attached it to their Spotify and they're ready to sell merch and they've got extra large white t-shirts ready to go and they have no sales. That's because offers land better inside relationships. And if you're going to buy Meta ads to get Spotify plays and collect social media followings and then try to make offers to them, you are not selling to anyone that's going to care to buy. Speaking of consistent sales, our friends at Disc Makers did offer a beautiful webinar bonus. So if actually creating CDs, which are also on the rise in popularity and a wonderful thing to have to sell at your merch table, to give to fans as a bonus, and or to do a pay what you want strategy, you can get 10% off if you've never ordered with Disc Makers. Just use first CD10 at checkout. And thank you so much, Disc Makers, for bringing all of you to me today. I deeply appreciate that you're all here. So a goal to start with, I've just gone through a lot of steps and a lot of ideas, is this. Make one fan per day. Try setting this little micro goal of capturing just one new fan a day, and if that feels like too much, go for one a week. Imagine if in over a year you did one a week and you added that one person to that chat messaging group that you are carrying around in your pocket. Now you go from being alone to having 52 people come with you everywhere you go. And if you're looking for that key, which has been talked about now for over a decade, of 1,000 true bonded fans to help sustain you, you've just gotten that much closer. And then at the very, very bottom of the bond marketing funnel is, of course, a bonded fan base. This is the ultimate goal. This is the final step in the funnel. This is the foundation for a lasting, fulfilling music career. And you're no longer just chasing attention. You're supported, you're sustained, and you're surrounded by people who genuinely care. So to summarize, bond marketing doesn't expire. Your people are your people. Real connection is timeless. And when you invest in your fans, you build something that lasts. Your people will stick with you through releases, reinvention, life changes. This is how you take control of your career on your own terms. Whew, how are you all feeling? How is this all landing? And then for those of you who might also feel like you're a bit overwhelmed by all the ideas and concepts I just threw at you pretty quickly, please know that we have seen profound shifts in some of our clients when they only do 2 or 3 things in that 9-step funnel. So this is not about like following a crazy syllabus and going through it all and, doing all the things, especially those things that might not feel great, except the email and the 5 touch points. You will have to do those. But there are ways of working within this funnel and mixing it up to get a better solution and a closer community. So for those of you that might like to explore that with me, I am announcing for the first time in years a artist cohort. It's the Buzz to Bond 7-week mastermind. And I have not only Mecca, who you'll meet again in a moment, but 3 other masterful coaches, 2 of which worked at major labels for years, coaching and doing marketing tactics and strategy for artists, and Liana on my team, who was signed to a major label and now owns a world-class recording studio in Maryland. So lots of really brilliant thinking minds are going to be part of this live mastermind. Class is going to meet once a week. It's going to be a lesson, very much like the one you just saw. In fact, some of the slides that you saw today are from the course, and we will help you build your funnel together, and you will get support from each one of the coaches and me. And the outcome is pathways built to attract and nurture your truly bonded fan base. So again, here is the recap. And please, if you have questions, start putting them in the chat. I'm going to get to questions in a moment. In the Buzz to Bond Live, we will walk you through all 7 of these steps. The first week will be brand pillars, making sure your brand is rock solid. Fan personas, making sure you understand who you're connecting to and voice. Week 2, we're going to tune up your social media channels and your website and make sure that you're not losing fans and making them get confused on a bad fan journey. Week 3, we're going to help you lay out those buckets to capture the rain. Week 4, we're going to get that email list firing, growing. We're going to get it cleaned up. If you have open rate issues, I have a world-class person who I consult with. He actually helps artists get their emails out of spam and promotions and back into people's inboxes. Week 5, we're going to work on those 5 touch points. How are you bonding and connecting to your fans? And Mecca's going to share his amazing strategy that works for him. In week 6, we're going to help you build your own fan sanctuary. And it shows up for artists in many different ways. And then in week 7, we're going to go through how to get some of what you've done on repeat so that your fan base is growing. So for those of you who are interested in taking this course and joining us, there is a special today. Mecca's going to put the link in the chat. You can click on it and take a peek. So now we're going to go to Q&A. Mecca's going to join me. He's been wildly taking notes on the chat here at YouTube Live. Hello.
So Ariel, I'm in 2 different screens. So if I'm looking this way, you already know. I do have a question. D Garcia 76 says, which email list service is recommended?
So the answer is the email list service that allows you to do 3 things. Number 1, deliver a gift. So a landing page can be easily built where you can have people sign up and get something free and get an autoresponder. So that's number 2. Drip campaigns and autoresponders are key in an email list strategy. So knowing that when someone signs up for your email, for example, they can get a series that is taking them on a little bit of a fan journey. Number 3, you must work with one that makes it very easy to tweak and test. Tweaking and testing is key. So we actually love MailChimp because MailChimp has a very powerful AI built into the back end of it, and it will actually help you tweak and constantly work on your emails. I personally use Kit, which used to be called ConvertKit. We love that very much. You can use MailerLite. You can use Constant Contact. Just use something for professionals and make sure that you can set up autoresponders and free gifts.
That's great. Ariel, we have one from Meaningful 6263. They ask, is the mastermind and a one-on-one? Is it a one-on-one or group setting?
So the answer is yes. It is designed, the cohort is designed to cap out at 20, and we already have 11 people in it. So there's 9 slots left. There's going to be a group lesson, much like the one you're on today, with me presenting once a week one of the 7 concepts. That will then be followed by a 30-minute group chat. And then throughout the week, those beautiful coaches who you just saw a photo of on one of the past slides will be holding office hours. So Liana, Mecca, Melanie, and Marissa will each have times throughout the week, and you can join as many of those coachings as you would like. There will likely be just a couple of people in each one. And then there will also be special office hours with me. So it is as close to a one-on-one experience that you can get for, it's approximately $100 a week. And there is nothing else that gives you support at this level. So please click and join us if it feels like it resonates.
All right, Ariel, we have one more from D Garcia 76. What time of day will the group meet in the mastermind?
So we're going to meet on Tuesdays, and because we have a global audience, we already have members from the mastermind from Australia, from Europe, and Canada. Not much of a time difference there. And then, of course, LA, New York, Nashville. We're going to mix it up. So it will be Tuesdays Last time I checked, we're going to kick off at around 8 p.m. Eastern, but we are going to mix it up so that our friends in Europe can join us. But it will be mixed up, but it will be on Tuesdays and the office hours. So will be pretty much almost every day of the week. So if you can't make it to the live lesson, you will definitely be able to at least connect with one or more of the coaches throughout your experience.
All right. Let's see. It looks like the questions are just about wrapped. I kind of have like a tongue-in-cheek question from Carlos De Devi. He says, so my 10 fans are a good start? Question mark. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, believe it or not, I think this is also this scourge that has happened where we are focused on numbers and numbers and numbers, and focus in on those 10 fans. Seth Godin, who's like the godfather of marketing, always says like if you could get 10 people to be remarkable, meaning they're remarking on something about you and they're bringing additional fans, that's a good start. So a lot of what we'll do at Cyber PR is we have to sort of deprogram artists from believing that huge numbers are key and massive and important and legitimacy making. They're not. Like, I don't know, like 10 people is, I think, is a beautiful start. And I know you're being tongue in cheek, but it's hard to get 10 people's attention in today's crazy non-attention economy. And if you do have any more questions or anything hanging out as we wrap up, please do feel free to pop it into the chat.
Thank you, Ariel. Um, I do have just like a quick reflection. I kid you not, because I've been following you for over 13 years and you've been super helpful and I love working with you. I kid you not, there is like a generation of younger fans that love tangible items and
Yes.
just following some of the things that you've been saying for the longest. I had somebody drop 160 bucks, I kid you not, on Bandcamp. They bought like my newest catalog like a few days ago and I'm like mind blown, just making things available, not chasing big numbers. That's more than I would make on Spotify. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's more than
Like,
you might make on Spotify in a year, right? If you're just like an average person. So
uh,
that says so much. That
uh,
says so much. Like imagine what your life would be like if every week someone gave you 160 bucks. Like that's that's beautiful. That's
yeah.
so cool. Very cool.
I think we have one. Wow, it looks like there's a few. They just
Okay,
came through. All
great.
right. A tongue-in-cheek one, it seems. Can we abandon our Instagrams? Uh, Let me see. D. Garcia says, I'm considering the program to help me promote my son's music, Holden Garcia.
Great.
He's 12, is about to release his first album next month. Would this be a good program for him? For them?
I think it would be. Mecca, do you want to drop the work with us link in the chat? If you want to set up a
Yes.
call with me, I'd be more than happy to talk you through that. I think it could be a good fit, but I'd like to know a little bit more before I say anything.
Awesome. All right, D. Garcia, stay tuned. I'm going to drop the link in there. We have one from Talking Straight with Nate. My band, In Vogue, is named after a holiday, which is this Sunday. What do you suggest we do to celebrate and include fans? I was thinking a live stream that debuts a new song and some giveaways.
What is the holiday?
Imbolg, Imbolg. I hope
Cool.
I yeah,
IMBOLG.
yes. Did I spell that
Ah,
right?
St. Bridget's Day. Of course, I'm Irish. I should have known that. Oh my gosh. Yes, this is super cool. Yeah, St. Bridget's Day is such a beautiful day. It marks the beginning of spring, and St. Bridget, Ireland's patroness saint, um, is a very, very beautiful, um, beautiful thing. So, okay, so I think this is an enormous opportunity to educate people. I mean, this is something we talk about a lot at Cyber PR is like, you have to let fans know sort of what they're looking at. So maybe talking about like why you decided to name your band after that. Maybe you resonate very deeply with St. Bridget's. Maybe there's some certain traditions that feel very, very good that you want to maybe bring forward as a band. It's a huge day to market and promote. Um, yeah, I know it can be a bit of a Wiccan or a neo-pagan day. I don't know what your vibes are, but this is like a great time to like really think about like your voice, your brand voice, and educating people about like why this day is important. So I love that. I think yes, do a push for it, and yeah, I really encourage that. And any day can be like this. And in fact, when we write marketing plans for some of our artists, we'll say like, you know, what are you really into? Obviously, International Women's Day or Black History Month, there are specific times of the year when artists can be much more active and alive and available. But like even something silly like there's Clash Day, which is the day the Clash put out London Calling, one of the best albums I think ever made. And Clash fans rush to the internet to talk about their love of that band and, you know, when they first found out about the Clash. I mean, it's like a little simple thing, but it's something that bonds people. And as you know, there's about a million different celebrations. They can be as trivial as um, Donut Day or as heavy as celebrate Daughter Day or your son or you know you can do so many things with your social media to educate your fans around you around holidays, which also can trend on social media.
Nice, nice. I think maybe this is the last one. Do you have any thoughts on getting meta verified? Um, Talking straight with Nate, he gets locked out of Facebook and feels like they're offering some sort of like blackmail to get him to pay for verification. What do you just think about verification and the blue checks overall? How do you
I
feel?
I basically feel like again, this is a dopamine hit play. I think we are well beyond the time in the world where like, oh, it's a blue check. I mean, right now we are in a government that just like and not only the government but like all these major platforms are like super okay with like spreading lies and misinformation and there's no fact checking that's going on. I don't know that like you're going to feel really great about getting a blue check mark from people that go have dinner at the White House all the time. It's just that's me talking. But yes, I don't think it's like back in 2008 when like a blue check mark meant so much. And yes, we have artists that are constantly getting shut out of Meta, getting their ad platforms turned on, getting banned for music that they own that platforms are saying is copyrighted. I mean, we see these things all the time. And this is what happens in a world where AI is basically monitoring our behaviors and getting things wrong. And it's very hard to correct a strike against you on a platform like Meta when they think that you're using music that's not yours when it's 100% yours. Because how do you get a human being um, to connect with you? I'm sorry that's happening. And yeah, try to work with the best of your knowledge, do some research, figure out how you can get out of meta jail. That's really frustrating. And we as a team have spent countless hours unlocking stuff for our clients over the years. Really frustrating.
I gotta laugh.
Yeah.
Not easy.
No.
Um, I think, do we have time for any more questions or?
We have a few more minutes if anybody else has a burning question that they'd like to pop into the chat. Otherwise, we can wrap it up. And thanks so much, everyone, for being here. Thank you so much to Disc Makers for hosting and having us. And for those of you that are interested in the course, Mecca has put a link in the chat if you want to fill out the work with us form. If you're interested in just having a conversation with me about is this course right for you. It does launch off next week, and it would be great to have some more folks in it. Or if you're interested in our agency for publicity or marketing, or if you want to come buy the book, you can find us at cyberprmusic.com. Thanks a
Awesome.
lot.
I think we got one more.
Oh, one more burning question.
Would love to hear your thoughts on the methods, advantages, and drawbacks of live streaming.
Oh, okay. So drawbacks. I'll start with that one. Lowest hanging fruit. There are no drawbacks to live streaming. Live streaming is an invitation to bring a global audience of your fans, followers, and friends together to see you do your thing. There is nothing wrong with that. Methods. There are so many methods and so many platforms, and that's a real personal choice. Going where you have a good following is always smart. Going where your fans have easy access is always smart. When Mecca and I are consulting people on how to do live streams, we often look at those things first. Like, if you don't have a lot of followers on YouTube, why would you do a YouTube live stream? Maybe your platform's going to be on Facebook or Instagram, or a standalone live streaming channel where you can charge tickets. If you have a fan base, charge tickets. If you don't have a fan base, don't. I mean, there's a lot of questions that we would love to ask before we just say, yes, go do it. But we see nothing wrong with live streaming. It's a fabulous way to get your people all together in a room, especially if you can choose to do it on a night where people might be home, like a Monday or Tuesday on a cold winter's night, or, I think it's a great thing. And again, if only 10 people showed up to your live stream, that's equivalent to having 10 people in an intimate coffee shop or an intimate bar setting, sitting right around you, focused on you. Again, let's not discount. I think we've been so brainwashed. It's like, oh, if 1,000 people aren't there, it means nothing. Just to give you some context, over 50,000 people clicked on the link to join this webinar, but there is only about 100 of us here today, right? Is it 100? How many people are here? Yeah. Yeah. So 50,000 to 100, it takes a lot to get people's attention. So even a small live stream, I think, is absolutely worth your time and effort. All right. That is a wrap, friends. Do follow us on social media, cyberprmusic.com, cyberprmusic on all the platforms. I am on LinkedIn at Ariel Hyatt. Ariel like the mermaid, Hyatt like the hotel. Thank you, Mecca, for being here today. Thank you, everyone, for your time and your energy. I do not take people's time and energy lightly. I hope you've learned something. As you're signing off, if you want to put an aha moment or a part of the funnel that you liked, we always love feedback. Otherwise, we will be sending out the live stream again if you want a recap. Thanks so much.